Good morning, welcome to Catex TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, February 27th, 2015. If you want to follow us on Twitter, go to Catex TV. This is the last business day of February. Spring begins 3 weeks from today. It's hard to believe. It's still freezing here. Tonight in New Jersey, the temperature is going to go down to 0. Here's an interesting story. The structure for the Catlin newly merged entity has now been announced. Mike McGavick announced yesterday that they intend to create a new structure of the new $4.2 billion acquisition after the $4.2 billion acquisition of Catlin. That's going to see the appointment of 4 segment group CEOs and 4 regional CEOs. This is going to be 8 CEOs thus. The 4 segmental CEOs will report to Paul Brand. The 4 regional CEOs will report to Kelly Lyles. The actual assignments are listed. They're found in the news stories. It seems to be a little bit 60-40, if you will, in favor of XL. Catlin's people play a very big role. McGavick said that the new structure represents, quote, a more matrixed approach. He also said that he expects to make a similar announcement soon on reinsurance. This only affects the insurance operation. Meanwhile, in London as well, the CEO of Besso, one of the last remaining independent reinsurance brokers, has resigned. Colin Marshall. He's going to remain with the company until mid-year until a replacement is sought. He was one of the founding members of Besso. He's been with the company for 30 years. Apparently, Besso is for sale. Long-term chairman Colin Bird and Marshall have retained Marshall and Marsh's investment firm to be looking at selling part of their stake. Along with Bird, Marshall has been one of the driving influences at Besso, and his resignation now deprives the company not only of his services as a key leader, but also leaves it without a significant equity holder active at the company. Besso's had a complicated corporate history in recent years. A large stake in the business was available for some time as Wells Fargo looked to sell out back in 2010-2011. British Prime Minister Cameron vowed this morning to use all means at his disposal, which are considerable, to hunt down militants such as Jihadi John after the killer was unmasked as a Kuwaiti-born computer programmer who had graduated from a university in London. The black-clad militant brandishing a knife and speaking with an English accent has been shown on videos decapitating a number of hostages. His name is Mohammed Mwazi. He's 26 years old. He was known to the British security services because they had tried to recruit him. This is according to a prisoners group called Cage. The case has now sparked debate in Britain about whether or not the security services actually inadvertently let him slip through their grasp to join ISIS in Syria. Also, this morning, Germany's parliament overwhelmingly approved the 4-month extension of Greece's financial bailout, despite obvious unease over the extension. Lawmakers voted 542 to 32 to back the bailout extension. It's only a 4-month extension. Greece was granted it by the European creditors to ensure it remains solvent and does not run the risk of falling out of the euro, but they did have to commit to budget reforms. According to Wolfgang Schäuble, who was the finance minister of Germany, who has had some very negative things to say about the Greek plans, he said, quote, "This is not about new billions for Greece. It's not about changing this program. It's about providing additional time to complete this program successfully." Mexican authorities have captured the top leader of a major drug cartel who's been wanted for years. This is according to Al Jazeera. Servando Gomez Martinez, also known as La Tuta, which is Spanish for school teacher, which he once was one, was reportedly captured this morning in the city of Morelia in Michoacan state. He was apparently captured without incident. Mexican and U.S. authorities have offered a $2 million reward for his capture. In Bolivia, weeks of heavy flooding have left parts of the country underwater after the Acre River burst its banks. The worst of the flooding has been in the northern parts of the country. Residents have been using boats to navigate flooded streets. The vice president of Bolivia, Alvaro Garcia Lanera spoke during a visit to the region. He said, as you have seen, various towns have been affected. The effect is unprecedented. Since October, at least 25 people have been killed by heavy seasonal rains in Bolivia. Airbus, the number 2 plane maker in the world after Boeing, has defied warnings of a slowdown in the jetliner market with a steep production boost for its top-selling A320 and announced its biggest ever dividend. The firm's confidence about demand and a switch to the new A320 model lifted its shares and came despite a fresh charge of 551 million euros due to delays to the A400 military transport. They're increasing their A320 jet line up to a record 50 per month by July of 2017. This is confidence seen despite a temporary drop, as they're calling it, in production of the twin-engine A330 wide-body jet, which has now been cut down to 6 per month. Airbus has already bitten the bullet on the A330, said investment bankers. The A320, which has been increased from 42 to 50 by 2017, is a direct rival to the Boeing 737. Airbus's CEO, Tom Enders, dismissed recent market concerns that the commercial aerospace cycle has peaked. In fact, the only concern I have read about is the fact that with the drop of fuel prices, airlines are holding on to older, more gas-inefficient aircraft rather than switch to new costly planes. But fuel, like everything else, will go up. So maybe Enders is right. That's the news for today. The next time we'll see you will be March. Hopefully it will be warmer. If not, there's nothing we can do. Thank you for watching and have a good weekend.